All right, let's get into the head. Faces, more the head first. All right, there are two ways to draw a head. You can either do it the draw the egg shape, fatter at the top, narrower at the bottom. There's that word again. Or if that's too hard, you can do a circle and then do almost like a U, letter U at the bottom. And then when you come together, you pretty much have the same thing like that. That's the easiest way to start to draw a face or a head. And then you can erase that, and you can leave that for now. Now, when I teach doing faces, I use the half rule. Cut this in half. Everything is half in the beginning. Cut this in half. Cut from here to here. Cut that in half. That's going to be your eye line. From here to here, you want to cut that in half, about right there. That's your nose line. And from here to here, you cut that in half, I would say about right there. And that's your mouth line. So half, 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 and half. And you should have a pretty fair proportion. You can always change it later, but it's just easier doing halves. So for those who really didn't get it, cut that in half. And usually a lot of times when you do the circle and this, that usually represents half. So I would say half is about right there. Because some people use that and they'll draw on the circle and they'll use it as a guideline. And say half of this is about right here. And half of this is about right here. As I said, you can always change it over later. You make like a bigger chin or a smaller chin, but it's just easier doing halves. Okay, the face is 5 eyes wide. So if you do an eye, and I'm going to step back in a second. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supposed to be 5 eyes wide, but as I say, people come in all different shapes and sizes. But if you do that, then you're pretty much on the right track for a proportioned face, a well-proportioned face. Then from here, and these are getting the proportions down. You go straight down from here, in between the center eye, down. That's the length of your nose. And we'll just put a little curve right here. Now, if you go from the center eye down and the center eye down, that is the length of your mouth. These are measured by somebody who measured the face and said this was for the perfect face. So it's all about measuring. So from here, let's do, before we get into that, let's do this. In the beginning, there was the smiley face. I think everybody can do this. You know, if you grew up in the 70s, then you got tired of seeing that. That was everywhere. Now let's say that's about all you can do. Let's take this and let's add some things to make it look more realistic. Now, if you were doing a cartoon face, this would be perfect. You know, this is fine. But assuming you want to draw people with a more realistic face, let's add a couple things. First of all, let's add a nose, and you can just do a V for nose for now. The mouth, let's add a bottom lip. Not too far. The eyes, let's cut the eyes a little bit. Like that. And go ahead and make it football shaped. I'm trying to think of what will be easier for you. The eyes also have that skin that fold over it. When you close your eyes, that extra wrinkled part like that. The part of the bridge of the nose. And then chop the face down. Just straight down. And that smile is a little big, so we're going to drop that smile a little bit. These are just little things that you can add to make it more realistic. Get rid of the cartoon smile and give him a regular smile. Regular length smile anyway. And you can tell the difference between the cartoon and realism. And then, of course, your eyebrows. So anytime you draw a face, just a little crazy looking face, these are some little things that you can do to make it more realistic, to give you a better way to draw. Just put eyebrows, bottom, that, inner eye. And I haven't done the inner eye yet, but usually these little extra things will make it a little better. Let's give him a little chin too. We'll keep him in a circle. Give him a little chin and the eyes. Now, let's jump to an eye real quick. An easy way to draw an eye is a line, a line, a line here, and a line there. That's an easy way to draw an eye. So if I drew another one, it would be in reverse. I mean, it almost looks like an Iron Man mask, kind of. But if you take this and round it off just a bit, and then round the bottom off, it's easy. Round that off, round the bottom off, like so. Ultimately, you want to have that, basically that football shape, and I always call it that football shape. But realistically, you have the tear duct. This little piece here is a tear duct. So when you cry, it's just like a little dip. Your eye, the ball of your eye actually curves around here and leaves that space. And whenever you cry, water runs down and from behind there and down here. That's what this little piece is for. Now doing the eye, which is basically the eye, I think the iris and pupil, I believe it is. And it's just basically in that shape. Like that. So if I took this eye, the shape for an eye, and I did the actual ball, the eyeball, I would do another here, and I would center another one here, depending on the size. And as I say, you'd have that extra layer of skin coming from the eye. Now, the eye is wet. The eye is always wet. That's why we blink. That's why we cry, to keep our eye wet. So because it's wet, you're going to have some kind of light reflection. And I'll put like just 2 light reflections. You know, look in the mirror, you'll see the reflection on your eye somewhere. Now this is usually going to be black. 99.999% of the time, this piece, I want to call it either the pupil or the iris, one of the two. Right now, I have no idea. I'm kind of losing it. That's going to be black minus your light source. This is going to be whatever color, brown, blue, whatever color the person's eye is. But this is going to be black. Now, because the eye is shaped like this from the side, and you have your eyebrows, this is higher than this, or this comes out more than this, so you're going to get shade from the sun from here. And because of that, you're going to have a shadow from this on the top of your eye. And it would be like this, and this, like that. And your nose comes out here. So you're going to have a shadow here. And when I ink this, it'll look better. And you'll even have it here. But this will be light gray because that part is the white. This is the white of your eye. And then to make it better, darken at the top, make it thicker at the top as it comes down. Let me ink this. I don't know, I'm jumping from one thing to the next. It's like when you have so much on your mind and you want to get it out, you're so in a rush that you skip over things. And I tend to do that sometimes when I do tutorials. but somehow I'm able to catch up with it and bring it back. So where's the actual ball at? Here and here. So you'll have that shadow on the, what is the iris or the pupil, one of the other two. But then you'll have a shadow here as well. But because this is white, it won't be so dark like a straight black as that. And then what I do is I take the line here and I make it a little thicker coming down, almost to be non-existent. And this has to be centered or your whole picture kind of gets thrown off. So if you do an eye, try to get you a tool to be able to do the eye. And then, as I said, you have that skin here. And to be detailed, you have a little one underneath. But that's if you only do close-up of eyes. And you have your eyelashes that come out here. And this will be pink because that's the thing. And, you know, to get detailed, you can put some of the, I forgot what these things are called. And add some eye color to it. So you do one on the other side, and then you have an eye. So back to the eye. If you put an eye in this guy, let's put this in this guy. And usually I'll use a line unless I'm doing a woman. So let's just gauge one eye. Let's put a square for one eye to make it easier, a rectangle. I'll put another rectangle and another rectangle. Now, cut it like that and that. Like so. I don't know what's with these pencils. Like that. And then just round it off. And that's the easiest way to fit an eye in. And then you have it. And as I said, from the center or the end to the end, that's your nose. And the nose is, you start out with a V because you have that flesh on the tip of your nose. And then your pupil, your nostril comes up and in, and you have that lower skin here. Now, a lot of times you don't have to show the nostril. It comes out like that, and then you have the tip of your nose, and then you have the rest that actually comes out, and more nose here. But usually if you look at drawings, they will not draw the whole nose, because the nose is considered ugly in pictures. That's why you only see just a little bit, especially on women. I mean, they might show more nose on a man if he's like a boxer or something, but on a woman, you might just see the nostrils and then maybe a bit of the nose, like a bit of the side of the nose, like that, and then, you know, maybe a little bit coming down. And since we're doing this, I'll turn that into a woman. And another thing that I do, you put that in the center, the center line, a lot of times I will put the eye like that on the center line so that I won't get too messed up. Now that's an easy way to do it, but once you start doing it, I usually do it like that, especially if I'm doing more detailed picture. If you're doing a small picture, you can get away with this perfectly. But if you're doing like a large face or just a face or portrait or something, you have to do more like this. Now I'll do this for a man. I'll put the line through both corners. But as for a woman, I will bring that back line off that corner to give her more of a pointy eye. Because women always do the eyelashes and they want the eyelashes to look good. So you can see the difference between the eyes being on the line and the back of the eye being off the line. I just take it off just a little bit and then do eyelashes. And when you do lashes, don't do this. What I usually do, especially if it's a small picture, I'll do just the one solid lash, comes up and across like that, and then a half of one down like that. So if this was the eye, why is my pen not writing? I'll do that lash here, and I'll come down like so, and just darken that. And the same thing with the other, just out a little bit and come around, and then do the eye. Like that. Now you can get away. I've seen people draw lashes, just be able to draw each lash, and you know, more power to them. I can't. You know, I'll do maybe some. I'll add just the bits to it. If I do this, I'll add just tips to it. But I'll come up with a solid piece, and then I'll do like that. That is the eye. Light source, pupil, I believe that is. And then around, and then there's your eyes. So back to this, the measurements. We'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of that. You have you have your nose, and it's a man. As I say, a woman, they won't do too much to the nose, just, you know, nostril, maybe the side of the nose and coming up. A man, and it depends on what type of man it is. Like if he's a boxer, he's a big guy, you might want to put more, you know, into his nose. But noses are, you know, there are tons of noses. So if you're drawing people and you want to draw a portrait or something, you probably go with that nose that you see. Now underneath the nose is this little teardrop thing, and usually you won't see that in most drawings. It kind of stands out there, but this takes this, it forms your lip, because your lip forms around that. This is why a woman's lip is like this, because of that little piece. And it can actually throw your face off. So I don't use that, but now that you see it, you'll know. And the mouth is for a man. Let's do another lip. And I'm jumping because I don't want this to be too long. Let's say this is the man's mouth. Usually, if it's close up, I'll give him very small lips, and then the bottom lip, I won't connect, like so. Now, if it's a woman, I will give her more of a fuller lips. Fuller lips. I'll give her more fuller lips. Yeah, that's right. And then it comes down, this point comes down. It makes a point, almost like a bow and arrow. And I draw this little piece. I don't draw it slap off of that. I take this little piece and I just do a little notch here, and then a mouth for her. And a lot of times for men, especially if you're doing like comics or quick drawings, they'll just do something like that. And then the bottom lip, and then your chin comes down there. But that depends on what you are drawing and how you're drawing it. So to continue with this, your lines here, your center line, your nose line, and your eye line, your ear is going to fit in between those lines. Maybe come a little higher than your top of your eye, but since this is the center, bring it just a little bit the top of your eye. And the ear is just an oval on the side, and you just draw another line coming down. I draw this little piece here, and then maybe another piece inside. You have to study ears, because basically a lot of ears are different. I'm gonna say all ears, but a lot of them are different. but you all have this little piece here. We all have this little piece here. I wish I knew what the piece was called. You can take it and curve it up. Now, we'll get this eye straight. And as I say, once you look at it, you can come back and say this eye's up too high or down too low, depending on your line work. If your lines are good. Me, I draw at an angle, and I discovered that like a couple days ago. Why? When I turn around and look, I have one eye higher than the other because I don't draw straight. I always turn my paper this way, so my line is going to be crooked. And the only time I see it is when I turn it upside down, which is what you should do once you draw something and you get into it. Stop, walk away from it, turn it upside down first, and then you can see, oh, the line is crooked or that's off, because you're looking at it in a different perspective. You know, to hold it up, show it in the mirror, look at it in the mirror. That's another way you can determine whether something's off or not. Because if you're staring at the same thing all day, everything seems right, and you don't want to ink something and then find out it's wrong. Well, let's get this eye, the eyebrows. Now your nose, your eyebrows are going to come around, and it actually starts to shape. It goes into that nose, that bridge of that nose. But you won't draw all the way. If you're drawing the nose, you'll erase this to leave that. So you have the nose come up. You have that other line for the eye. And this is to get more of a detailed face, to make it more realistic. And it should be bigger. Like that. And we want to get rid of that. Now you have a jawbone. Now I could bring this face in a little bit, but I'm going to leave it. But your cheekbone will come out like that, and it actually comes down, and then your face. But you don't really want, a lot of people don't have that type of cheekbone, but this is just the way it goes. Around here, and you can come out. So I didn't put it on this side. And it's going to come in a little bit here, and I believe that's a temple. And then I'll put the head kind of behind that. And when you put hair and so forth on there, a lot of these lines won't really matter. But you know what to do and what not to do before you put your hair and so forth on there. Now, if this guy were a little older, let's just put some age on him. I know his face is crooked, but let's just put some age on him. So one thing you would do is like the wrinkles around the eyes. You have more wrinkles, you know, maybe 2 or 3. And then you would kind of suck his jaw in a little bit more. Give him wrinkles, obviously, like that. If he had hair, the hair would be thinning. You can have like the crows, that's call it the crow's feet, coming from the side. The eyes would start to close a little bit more. They won't be so open wide. You'd have that more of a tired look. And if you had hair, let's just say this guy had, you know, hair of some type. Give his ears. So this guy's got a full head of hair. You would end up taking this, you keep the sideburns. Let's say you keep the side of the hair, both sides, and he would be bald. Or you can have just a little hair like at the top. Just ways to age a person. And the same thing would go for a woman. I don't really put this cheekbones on a woman because it kind of makes her look evil. I guess drawing comics for so long, you know how to draw the heroine and the villain. And ears. And let's just say, usually older women will cut their hair short. It could either be falling out or they just tend to cut it short. I guess they don't want to deal with it so much. Now the same with her. You give her like the crow's. And that's kind of one of the starts. Give her eyebrows. Do you have any eyebrows? You know, the bags around her eyes, the wrinkles on the forehead. She usually keep her. A lot of women do keep their hair. It just turns white. Something else I forgot. I don't know what you call that. Same thing with the man, right from behind the nose. You get that, and then sometimes under the eyes. But these are just little things you can do to turn somebody young old. And you know, I shouldn't have done that, but you get cracks in the lips. And of course the neck is going to get smaller. You know, before when he was a young man, he might have had a thick, you know, thick neck. But as you get older, you lose all that. Same thing with the woman. Or the shoulders, she started hunching the shoulders, would come back. Now for a boy, as I said, you would have a bigger face, around the face. Let's just do a quick little boy. Bigger eyes, brighter eyes, small nose, and maybe a small mouth. And that is the same thing we did here. So let's open his eyes up a little bit more. Give him the football shaped eyes. He's still going to have a small mouth, a small nose. Eyebrows, big eyes, big bright eyes. Let's make him smile. And he's going to have a fatter jaws. Let's give him his face, shape of his face first. Shape of his face. And like I said, he's going to have a wider face. Bring the chin up. Usually have like the little chin, and then the face will come up like that, giving him his wide jaws, cheekbones. Comes in, and he'll have a bigger forehead. Not that he didn't have a big forehead, but kids usually have bigger foreheads. You know, they say you grow into your head. It sucks in at the eye, and then they don't want him to look like an alien though. But if he has a hat and hair, you won't see that. And then little ears. And ears that can stick out too. A lot of young kids have ears that stick out more. And he still has that little piece. Let's ink this to make it a little easier to see it. I'm sorry I'm drawing small. But I'm just kind of like doing this as I go along. And then eyes down, but that's okay. He's kind of happy, but he's sad at the same time. A small nose, bridge, small mouth, like so. Cheekbones, comes into a small chin. And the younger he would be, the more fatter his cheeks would be. Ears that go out. And then he has a big head. So, and a small neck. Like so. And little shoulders. And you don't want the shoulders to go too much past his head. Around about like that. And then we'll just do this. Let's just say and that saves a lot of drawing hair if you do something like that. It's being lazy, but you know, it happens sometimes. And there you would have your young face. A little crooked, but, and as I said, young kids wear t-shirts all the time. Like that. And that it would be the differences in faces. And of course you have, you know, people that would have, you know, just chubby, really chubby faces. You know, people with, you know, just huge heads. But as I say, you know, if you're drawing something or someone or people, I'm assuming that you have something in mind. So you're kind of looking at it. You have your reference picture, or you're kind of making it up as you go. And in that case, once you get the guidelines together, you can always, you know, change it. Give the guy a mustache or something. You know, it's your drawing. And as I say, I'm assuming that you have an image in mind. You know, he has that one, or you can have the full one that comes all the way up, or you can have the Santa Claus one that comes all the way down. Yeah, it's, you know, sky's the limit, because as I said, everybody's pretty much different. Everybody has some different unique character about them, but we all share the same commonalities, you know, 2 eyes, the mouth, the nose, you know, the shape of the head. So that should do it. I'm going to pause the tape and go over what I've shown you so far to see if I've left something out, because as I say, there's so much on my mind that I want to get it out, but sometimes I rush it. So you won't know, but I'll be back in a second. Things, and we will wrap this up because this video is running long. And if you stay with me so far, I want to say thank you, and I'm sure you did learn something. Let's make a little, just a bit younger than him. So to do that, it's pretty much the same way, but you want to bring his features up. Like the nose would probably be here, you know, the mouth would be here, the face would be a little, was it cheekbones, and the head would definitely be bigger. So as you grow older, everything starts to pull apart. The mouth drops lower. In I think the eyes stay the same. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that someone said that, or saw a show that said, you know, your eyes never change. Basically, when you're born with the eyes that you're born with, the size that you're born with, it stays at. It doesn't. Your eyes don't grow bigger or doesn't grow any bigger. So you're born with the eyes that's going to be the same size. I'm losing it for some strange reason, because I'm trying to draw this baby, which I'm going to just let go. Babies usually have wider noses, even smaller mouths. But I'm going to let this go because, as I say, this video is running long. They have very little hair, little ears. Your face comes together more. Usually they have the cute little baby lips. Like I said, most times wider nose, and the bigger eyes. And still, you know, not much neck. I know that their shoulders will come up because they don't really have much neck like that. So let's see what if I can ink this without really messing it up. And it's just so crooked. Thin eyebrows. And as I say, not much hair to go on, but they do have big heads. And little wrinkly necks, wrinkly like old people. Like that, and little red, cute cheeks. Babies. So yeah, just bring your features in, your facial features in more, make the face fatter and a bigger head, and then you'll have an infant. You know, the rest determines the body. The body determines the age as well. So let us wrap this up by drawing a crowd, a quick perspective in crowds. Now drawing people. Let's say we have a guy here. This is perspective. And you want to draw other people with him, but they're all not all standing beside him. What you do is you can take this from here. Let's say this is going to be a back line from here to here. Let's forget about this line right now. From here to here. And then top of the head, top of the neck. To that point. Now draw another person behind him. This is the same size as the head. This head is going to be the same size. Shoulders, down, and the legs. All this should be on the same line. And so forth all the way back. You draw a third person. It should all fall on that same line. The head, the hips, the legs. You can do a crowd of people all the way back. And my lines are a little crooked, but hopefully you understand. And they will be in proportion to one another. Now you're drawing people. Now let's just say you wanted a guy that is standing next to this guy. What you would do is draw your line over, and that's what that line was for. Draw your line over and over, just straight across, and I'll put them over here. Draw your head line over, let's say the shoulder line, or the hip line, the crotch line, and then draw a person here. And then you have the person that is on his line. He's the same height as that, but not as tall as that. And the same thing with this. If you want to go back, put people behind him, same way. Head here, shoulders here, there, feet there. Same thing. You can go all the way back until you can't see the person, or you can have somebody come out, you know, here next to this guy, and it'll be the same size here. Quick perspective. So if you wanted to draw a crowd, that's the best way to do it. Even if you just drew a big head and you want to draw people behind them, same way. You can draw a person's head right here, person's head right there. He could be hiding behind him. You want to go straight over, a person right here. You want to go back, person right here, and then just draw the shoulders. And you already know the half, 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 and half. So the rest is simple. Now you are drawing people. And one last thing before we close this. Suppose you didn't want everybody the same size. Same thing. If you're drawing back, and let's say this is a woman back here, just drop her down. If his head, if this is 6 foot, let's say this is a guy 6 foot, it's going to be 6 feet all the way back until it vanishes. So just drop her head down, maybe a foot right here. And then her shoulders. We'll just give her that shape of a woman. Put her hand on her hip. And then you see that, oh, she's still in proportion with the rest of the guys, but she's just smaller because she's a woman. As long as her feet stop on that line, you'll be all right. And if you wanted a kid and the kid was next to her, just drop the kid down too. As long as his feet is on that line, it will all fit in place. So I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'm going to thank you guys for watching it. If you stayed with me all the way through, I really appreciate that, and I hope that you did learn something. And if there are any questions on this one, leave me a comment or a question, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you guys may have. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I didn't do hands, but I'll do a video on hands later. All right, so thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in another video, and hopefully it won't be this long. All right, bye.